NIMBYs from all over point to Paris as an argument against allowing tall buildings in their cities. Paris is a city everyone loves that achieves very high population densities mostly with mid-rise buildings. Actually, mid-rise Paris is denser than high-rise New York. Checkmate, tall-building-ists. Is there anything to this argument? Well, kind of, but they're also missing some big details. Paris's density advantage versus New York is real but also misleading. New York is a city of high-rises only when you look at the skyline, not when you look at actual land use. This is Staten Island, one of the 5 boroughs. Most of it looks like this, and some of it even looks like this. Half of Queens looks like this, and a few parts are like this. Tell us again how high-rise New York is less dense than Paris. The borough with the most tall buildings is obviously Manhattan, but even it's not consistently high-rise. Large parts of Manhattan are mid-rise, quite similar to Paris actually, except that they have high-rises sprinkled in. When you compare mid-rise Paris to mid-rise plus high-rise Manhattan, you find that Manhattan is predictably denser. There's a pervasive idea within the urbanist space that tall buildings don't actually provide any more density than mid-rises. This comes from the tower in the park model that was common in the decades after World War II. The Pavilion apartment complex in Chicago near O'Hare Airport is a good example, reaching 15 stories tall but covering only about 10% of the lot. That means it has a floor area ratio of 1.5. The total floor space provided in the buildings is 1.5 times the size of the lot. That's not very dense, especially for the height. The condo development nearby actually has a higher floor area ratio of 2 despite being shorter, because it covers much more of the lot. Looking at floor space of particular buildings is a more precise way to understand density than overall population density of cities, because cities mix different types of housing, and because office and commercial buildings simply aren't counted in traditional residential population density. You can also find the tower in the park model in New York. The Lafayette Morrison complex in the Bronx is also not very dense, with an FAR of 1.5, because despite the height, most of the space is parking and greenery. That's less dense than these 4-story Brooklyn brownstones, which have an FAR of 2.2. It's also less dense than these 6-story Bronx mid-rises, with floor area ratios of around 3.5. Now you can find other tower in the park developments that are denser than this one, like Stuytown in Manhattan with a floor area ratio of 3.3, but that's still not actually denser than the close-together 6-story Bronx mid-rises. This brings us back to Paris, which is mostly made up of mid-rises that achieve a high density thanks to how compactly arranged they are. As a visitor, you don't even see it all from the street, but some of these blocks are very tightly packed. This block is denser than any of the buildings we've seen so far, with a floor area ratio of 5.3. That comes from 6.5 stories covering 80% of the lot, with the rest being a courtyard in the middle. This block covers 90% of the lot and is even denser, with an FAR of 7.2. This block covers less of the lot, only 60%, due to more open space in the courtyard, and as a result is a little less dense with an FAR of 4.9. But all of these are 10, 20, even 30 times denser than places that most North Americans grow up. And because Paris sustains densities like this more or less across the entire city, the suburbs are a different story, you end up with Paris being a very dense city, even by European standards. But that's about the limit of density for mid-rise buildings, while high-rises that take up most of the lot can go much denser. This building in Manhattan called the Cole is 22 stories high, and has a floor area ratio of 16. Technically, you could achieve the same density with a 16-story perfect box building that covers the entire lot, but anything shorter could not achieve that density. Just next door, there's a building with an FAR of 24, which again is geometrically impossible to achieve with a Paris-style mid-rise. Even denser is the Empire State Building, with an FAR of 31. The Empire State Building doesn't actually take full advantage of its 102 floors due to the setbacks mandated by the zoning code of 1916, but the point still stands. Paris mid-rises are quite dense, but after a certain point you simply need taller buildings to achieve higher densities. When people bring up Parisian density to argue against tall buildings, there are really two separate claims that they can be making. The first is that, on a given site that's up for development, mid-rises will provide just as much housing as high-rises, or even more. This is the stronger claim, and it's generally wrong. It's only true if the tall buildings are spread out and the mid-rises are built much more tightly. But if you're holding other things equal, taking the same project and adding height will add density. The second type of claim accepts that high-rises provide more density on a given site, but says a city can achieve the same amount of overall densification by redeveloping many sites into mid-rises. This is mostly true, and all but a few cities in North America could probably solve their housing problems with Paris-style density. But basically none are willing to actually do that. While people like visiting Paris, at home NIMBYs still generally see 8-story buildings as monstrosities, and legalizing them everywhere is a non-starter. Not even high-rise New York allows mid-rises in most of its neighborhoods. Not even French-speaking Montreal allows Paris-style housing everywhere. And cities are even less willing to legalize mid-rises in the particularly tight configurations that you find in Paris. For better or worse, we have more expectations of open space these days for reasons of light and air. The unfortunate and frustrating reality is that Parisian density is most often referenced in North America as a cudgel against tall buildings, rather than a positive plan to actually get more mid-rises built. For example, NIMBY activists fighting against Vancouver's Jericho Lands project said that it should be more like Paris than Hong Kong when trying to shrink it down. But when Vancouver legalized 3-story multiplexes all over the city, with an allowed floor area ratio of just 1.0, there was just no groundswell of support to increase the allowed density on the grounds of wanting to be more like Paris. From a North American perspective, simply allowing Paris-style mid-rises everywhere wouldn't be the perfect housing policy, but it would be a massive win. It's unfortunate that there's a lot more energy around shrinking tall buildings down than there is to opening up more neighborhoods to the mid-rises that people say they love. Thanks for watching through to the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and a special thanks to our supporters on Patreon.